I'm a South Indian who grew up in Delhi. I think failures do happen.
Yeah.
I think they just need to be given the same amount of credit as success does. Okay, you can make mistakes and it's fine. He is my SOS call on my phone. He's the person I call for small things, big things, everything. As founders or as entrepreneurs in general, we fall every day. One thing that I have learned in the past couple of years is that authentic storytelling is very, very important. Today, a 22-year-old is also an influencer and also has a day job and has also got something else. So they.
Welcome to Beyond the Script podcast, Manasa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Before just going into the podcast, everyone knows Manasa runs like a very good company called kindlife, but I don't think a lot of people knows the little Manasa behind it.
Okay.
Born in South India, grown up in Delhi.
Yes.
I have seen your Instagram stories and all. I can say you can relate a lot to Gen Z.
Yes.
So, but I want to know, like, how was your childhood journey? Like, how was your schooling? How was your relations with parents? And like, what kind of culture you have lived in your childhood?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be doing this after a lot of permutation combinations of trying to get this out. You're right. I'm a South Indian who grew up in Delhi. I did my schooling, my undergrad here, and then I moved out. Growing up, actually, I grew up in a typical household where, my outside world and inside world were very different. I had parents who would sleep on time, wake up early, and very different from Delhi, Delhi standard time life, all of that. But I think in the larger scheme of things, I grew up with extremely supportive parents, parents who always and always encouraged and valued us to go beyond just the academic world. I was an extracurriculars kid. I was that kid that they would talk about saying कि ये तो class के बाहर रहती है और उसने ये club join कर लिया है और ये कर लिया है. I was that person, and that was encouraged by my parents. And I think that some of the values that they've taught me in terms of, every time my brother and I, every time we made some really large mistake or something really big happened in our life, they were extremely calm. We never got reprimanded when things were down. They always believed that, okay, that's fine. You need to learn. And I think that that's something that came to me as a naturally, that, okay, you can make mistakes and it's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have mentioned you have been into extracurricular activities.
Yes.
What kind of extracurricular activities, and also like how they help you to, like, right now, like if I say education, what I see as education, okay, whatever you have built it out in this year, like one of the most important skill that we have lost and that we do not care, like schooling do not care, is like how to communicate. The second thing is how to present yourself. So I just want to know from you, like, what kind of extracurricular curricular activities you have done and how they have helped you now.
So I was a debater. I was actually a very quiet kid, but as I became a teenager, I became an extrovert, more of an extrovert than I ever was. And I was not scared of public speaking. I became a debater in school. That's something I thoroughly enjoyed. Drama was something I enjoyed. So being on stage was not something that I was fearful of. I think that gave me a confidence, and that's something that translated into how I was in college as well. And I think that what you said, right, that schools were still talking about a very bookish way of learning, but I remember my mom coming into parent-teacher meetings and saying that, every time the teacher would say, no, but, other kids are doing like this, and why isn't Mansa's not doing as well as that? And my mother used to say, no, just tell me, how did she do in the last quarter and how is she doing this year? Is it better? Because I just want to see her progress. I don't want to see her against somebody else. So I think that those things gave me the confidence, and I think that that's something that stayed with me. So over the years, I kind of, became my own person.
You have mentioned one more thing, that you have a sibling,
Yes.
right? Uh, how's the relation with a sibling, and how was the relation in childhood? Uh, I mean, I'm also a younger brother to my sister, and I know like sibling plays a very great role in your life. Like they are the one of the most person who have seen the raw you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, your parents do not spend that much of time. They have spent time since you were a child, since you were growing up and all. So tell me, like, how was your relation with
Yeah,
them?
I have an older brother whom I deeply, deeply, deeply adore. He is my SOS call on my phone. He's the person I call for small things, big things, everything. He moved out when I was about 12 because he went out to study and he was living abroad for many years. So when he went, I was 12 and he was about 17, 18. So it was like, finally, mera bhai chale gaya, I'll get the room to myself and all of that. But I think over the years, we've become very, very close. We were always close. But you're right. I think they see you in tough times. They're also the people that you can be candid about when it comes to parents and saying, you know, ye kyun nahi kar rahe aise, and why are they doing this and why are they not doing this? You feel a sort of guilt when you're talking to your friends about it.
Right.
You don't know who else to talk to. And I think my brother is someone who has really been critical in for me to become the kind of person I am. He is extremely positive and he's extremely supportive. And he was an entrepreneur for many years as well. So I think that also helps with a little bit of the grounding of, you know, on days when it's a bit too tough. And yeah, I love him to death, but he's an older brother. So I think I will always be scared of him. He is not scared of anything, but, you know, as a younger sibling, you have the supremacy at home and you can kind of run the parents are scared of you and then you're scared of your sibling. That's how the world is, you know, the equilibrium is maintained. But yeah, for me, it was, I think I call him for everything. And now as an adult, I feel that it's not, I don't see myself not doing that for the rest of my life, whether it was college applications or my first job or how do I write this email and how do I prep for this interview to all the way till today. I think he's someone that I call and whose opinion I really, really value.
Interesting. I also know in my story, like when I went to Kota, just we were talking before the podcast. Like my sister was one of the biggest support system for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Because your parents have expectations from you. Okay. They have sent you and maybe they were very supportive for you, but they will not show on the face of you. But your sibling will be like very, very supportive to you and all.
Yeah.
So I think those tough times shows you like.
Yeah. And I think that the relationship I share with my brother is like 90% of it is absolute you know, rubbish memes that we share, and it's only like 10% of the time, and it's really deep conversations. But for the 90% of the time, it's like really, nobody should see our WhatsApp chats, and nobody should see, you know, we'll be like laughing about something really silly or something we did in childhood or something like that. But I think that's where the equilibrium is maintained. But yeah, I think you know, you were talking about parents earlier, but I think one thing that I have learned, and it's a common thread between all three of us, is that we really feel like, I mean, humor kind of keeps us together. We have a sense of humor that that I feel is something that lightens the mood even in extremely serious situations. And yeah, we have the ability to do that. So I think that's.
So can you explain a little more, Manasa?
Sure. So kindlife is a multi-brand platform, and you can shop for over 1,000 brands that are curated for you. And we are primarily in the beauty space, and obviously wellness around skin health and nutrition, etc. as well. You will be able to shop for brands that are cutting edge and, as I said, trending internationally as well as homegrown. So you will be able to get access to a lot of Korean beauty, Japanese beauty brands, and you know, this is across whether it is skincare staples or you know, new age formulations and categories as well, across the board.
Okay. Manasa, one question I also want to ask. I was researching a little about you, and I got to know that you had a food allergy also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what was the story behind that, and also does it have any relation with your building kind life?
Yeah, so I got diagnosed with celiac, which is severe gluten intolerance. This is about in 2018. I am a chronic label reader. And early on, yes, I think when the world was moving into COVID, was coming out of COVID, sorry. Everybody became like, I'm going to see what I'm putting in my body. I want to see what is this? Is this organic? Is this healthy? Is this? A lot of those conversations had started. But I think for me, it had kind of kickstarted a few years before that. And we were coming out of COVID, and Radhika Vidit and I, when we started thinking about Kind Life, it came from the fact that there are amazing brands that are there that are better for you, and then there are the consumers that are really ready, especially young consumers in India. But there wasn't a platform really simplifying that process for them. So I think that it came a large part of where I was, both personally as well as professionally, because I was working in the wellness space. It all married in together. So yeah.
Interesting. Manasa, you started your career from an internship at Deloitte.
Yes.
Okay. Then moving into this startup ecosystem, you have also worked at Shopcluse also.
Yes.
And then starting your own baby. I mean,
yeah.
Your startup is a baby for you. So raising that baby. So your whole corporate world experience, because I haven't experienced that corporate world, so I just want to know from you, does it help you, or it is not needed, like it is not necessary?
Yeah, I did my very early internship in college at Deloitte. But I think that for me, the grounding was the jobs that I did. I kind of wrapped up my degrees back to back. So I did my undergrad, and then immediately I did my postgrad. So I was kind of done in 4 years with my padhai. And I think I learned more on the job. And I think that especially now, the world that we're in and the way that we're building businesses is very different, because the avenues to reach out to the consumer are very different. I started my career at a media agency. I started in Madison. I used to work Madison,
Okay.
And I used to work on the Cadbury account, but I was a hardcore offline media planner.
Okay.
That world today, for a younger generation, the media spends don't look in the same way that it did then, right? It was a TV, radio, print, and I remember the only early signs of digital that we saw was a Facebook page that people had to go like. But today, I can't imagine a business being made for us, for your generation, for example, that involved that media mix, right? We're sitting at a podcast, a format that didn't exist in the form that it does now, video podcasting, to be played on channels like a YouTube or an Instagram, which was not mainstream for brands at that time. So I think a lot of that changed. And then I moved to Shopcluse, which was an amazing ride. Would I have gone to a structured corporate setup? I don't know. And I think I kind of got used to the pace of back-to-back being in startups. I knew that this was just something that worked better for me. Had you asked me this question right out of business school, I would have said, no. I still want to do the, I want to go to the P&Gs and levers of the world like any other person who graduates in marketing. But today, I would say that if you are a young person, I still think that you should get work experience. I think that try and do as many internships as possible. Try and work at companies that are where you learn. Okay. That learning can pan out differently for different people. It could be a corporate, it could be a startup. And that's something that you have to decide for yourself.
But don't you think like learning is indefinite? Like,
yeah, it's a very deep question.
Yeah.
Learning is indefinite. I think that Anshu, what has happened? What happens is, like, I have a friend of mine, a very dear friend, and he says, startup is too at a pace that doesn't work for me. Yeah. So I think that you need to know what you're getting into. That's exactly the only thing. You need to know what you're getting into. So if you want to learn on the go, on the job, and do the big stuff and the small stuff, please apply to a startup. And Kind Life is hiring, so send your resumes our way. Send your resumes our way. But yeah, I think that it is learning always, and I think that that's life in general. In work or not, you're always forever and ever work in progress, and you're always learning.
Exactly.
So yeah.
One thing I also seen in the recent time in India, like the startup culture, I have seen from last 3 to 5 years. Like our startup culture is very, very cooperative startup culture. Whenever someone registered a company or someone started something, we call it startup. But
Mm.
to be honest, like until and unless we scale it to a number, which is kind of, I can say, that number matters.
Mm.
It is an experiment. I mean, startup still something which have blown it out. So because of that, we take a lot of pressure and all, and then there's not a lot of failures happen in India.
I think failures do happen.
Yeah.
I think they just need to be given the same amount of credit as success does. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I think that we don't celebrate and talk about it with as much, give it as much due as you do to success. That's where I would say. I think it is a pivoting learning curve for businesses, for founders, and that's going to happen. To find the right fit is something that's constantly evolving. But I think that I don't think failures are not happening. I think that we just don't talk about it enough.
But to be honest, like if you compare, now we have to compare.
Okay.
We are comparing India from US.
Okay.
US have way more failures. Like
no, I think that they talk about it
Yeah.
and they give it the due that they do.
Yeah.
Just the same way. I think
Yeah.
that today, if you come and we do a podcast
Yeah.
on this, didn't work for me,
Yeah.
and it didn't, and I learned, but this was where I messed up. I don't think that we will celebrate it as much as we would saying that, hey, I became like the number one of this, I was on the cover of this, all of that, right? And I think that as founders or as entrepreneurs in general, you fall every day and you get up, and your resilience is the only thing that matters. And that journey of falling, getting up is every day, like
Yeah.
So I think people, I think that's where it is.
Yeah.
You give it the credit and the due where it is, and say that's fine. I mean, I think our parameters for success are if अच्छा इतना business कर लिया है, ये हो गया है, वो हो गया है, all of that. And that doesn't align with how we define failure, right? Just because if you didn't hit this number, are you a failure? No, you still showed up every day. You did something, right? And that's about it.
Right. I want to just pick up one thing from our conversation. You have worked at Madison. You have mentioned like when you were working, like only Facebook were coming out from the digital. It will be a very controversial question, but I would love to ask you, does these companies still understand digital or not?
I think, okay. So I used to work on Cadbury, all right? I used to work on the master brands, Dairy Milk and Celebrations. I don't think the problem is of understanding digital. It is how much of it is going to impact your business. The spend that I'm doing and what is it going to drive for me? In a digital first business like ours, for me, my media mix involves digital because I know that it's trackable because that's where I'm going to get my consumers from. Would that translate as is did that translate as is at that time for an FMCG, company? No. But today, if you see, I think that it's very different, right? The way that companies, that are spending on influencer marketing, that are spending on content is still more than they have ever done. So I don't think that problem is not of not understanding, problem is of, is it really driving and what is it driving for me? That question is now being answered. Yeah.
Because you are from this media industry background, I just want to ask a question. There is a brand which is a mutual fund brand, ICICI Prudential Mutual Funds. They have launched an ad on YouTube.
Okay.
That ad have 124 million views.
Oh, wow.
And that ad have 0 comments and 10 likes.
Okay.
What do you think about that? I'd like does it help the brand and all? And let me give you a figure. That brand spent $3 million to $10 million on that particular boosting the ad.
Okay. And how did you discover it?
Some private sources. Like
Okay.
I'm into the marketing, so I know the people behind.
Why are we talking about it?
Just want to know about
No,
it.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I don't mean it that way. I mean it that we are talking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So if their aim was for more people to be talking about it and to be noticed,
Yeah.
it did its job. I consider that as success or failure? I don't know. But if
would you do the same in your brand?
I would not.
Hmm.
I would not. But I think that's because, again, as I said earlier, like what brands are driving and the purpose of what it's supposed to do has to be defined by the brand. Has to be defined by the business team, marketing team, whatever in those companies, right? For me, if I have to spend $3 to $10 million, it'll be very different. But if their aim was to ensure that you are in a podcast sitting and there is somebody who's in the marketing space and needs to know about it, there might not be a direct customer, they serve their purpose. Right. But if it was for driving some sort of conversion or any of that, yeah, maybe not.
Because this is right now happening with, I am into this ecosystem from a very good time. We are also going to have the CEO of Omnicom on this podcast.
Lovely.
Like he will be our next guest, and I have like very tough question to him around this. My question is like, this is not the only ad that have done this.
Yeah.
There's several brands who have doing this kind of thing, and the people behind it, those agencies or maybe those people who might be very good at traditional TV, print, everything. But at the end, I think just they have to finish their marketing budget and they just have to complete their eyeballs. Like they have to show the number like 124 million views. They might be doing for this.
So, yeah, that's what I said. That if you know why you're doing what you're doing, see, I'll tell you, I think that every person sitting in every company, everywhere, irrespective of scale, is answerable to someone because it's somebody's money that you're spending.
Yeah.
All right. That's whether you and I or we, and I don't mean you and I mean like just generally people outside don't understand the what that translates to. I get that, right? Because you're not in the room. But I think that everybody is sitting at a place where they have to justify ROI, right? How you define the ROI is what it is serving for you. For some people, it is a metric. For some people like us, it's we are very, very clear about who are we talking to, how are we talking to them, and what is it that we're doing, right? So for me, when I look at community, or content, I look at engagement, I look at reach, I look at things that are important to me as somebody who's going to be spending the same $100 as somebody sitting elsewhere. Right? So I think that the key here is, I'm sure that they know what they're doing. It is just that what purpose does it serve is probably not something that I would understand. Does 124 million as a number something that I don't know, but clearly there are like smart, intelligent people sitting there who know that this is supposed to serve this purpose. And kind of going back to what you said, I think that the work that you see that's coming out of new age businesses is just brilliant. I think my favorite content pages or communities that are built out is just, I think the playbook is very different now. So I feel risk appetite is more, they're having more fun while doing it, which I just hope that the legacy brands kind of do it and not in a token way, like actually do it because they have the budgets to do it. Give me the 3 to 10 million and see what I'm going to do with it, like. So I think that's probably where the difference is.
Interesting. We'll come out to the like organic content, the shifting of content since last 10 to 20 years later. But I want to ask you, there are the 4 pillars of a brand. Okay. Sales, marketing, positioning, and branding.
Okay.
What it is, and explain me with the example of kindlife.
Wow, I feel like I'm a professor. All right. Do you want me to? Okay, so let me tell you how we define it, right? I think positioning for us is very clear about what we say and how we say it. Very, very clear. Who we are talking to, how we say it. You will never see a certain type of content, for example, or a certain type of language that we'll talk. It's you'll never see that. And I think our principle of building the business came from there, right? We are inherently authentic. We are inherently collaborative, and these are values that is central to how we're building our business. That also translates into, when I say brand, I feel it's not just for the consumer; it's for all stakeholders, right? So I think it's that. Second is positioning for us would be who I'm talking to. I think that's going to be critical. We are very, very clearly built out for a younger audience. 85% of my audience is under 35. I'm built for the Gen Z and now incoming Gen Alpha, and the late millennials cohort. We are the youngest country in the world. Average age is 28. So I'm very clearly building out, and how it works for us also when we are building out for this consumer is key. Consumer is discovering via culture. So culture is a very large part of how we reach and we talk to this consumer, right? So that's, again, I don't know if I'm answering it in the right frame that you've made. Marketing, I think for us, is the channels that we use, right? In terms of what is it that we do in each of our pillars. Earlier on, you touched upon events, but I think there are a couple of things, right? Community, content, influencers. I continue to have performance marketing as a part, digital marketing as a part of it. But what is I'm doing? What is it that I'm doing there is very different. And last is sales, hardcore sales, right? For me, all my marketing pillars are also divided into ye upper funnel hai, ye mid funnel hai, or ye low funnel hai. Bahut clearly has been defined. I can switch between Hindi and English, right?
Definitely, okay. Whatever you comfortable.
So I think, for us, when we look at all of our channels, and everything that we do is mapped very clearly against what is it serving there. So if you want to take an ad tomorrow and say that, no, this is really great for content, it's not going to work. When I'm running performance marketing, it serves the purpose of somebody coming, clicking, buying that funnel, right? But when I'm doing an event, for example, I know that, okay, it's not for somebody to come and purchase, but I'm opening up the funnel, right? So this is how we've kind of divided it. I don't know if I'm answering it in the same structure of how you wanted it, but yeah.
Definitely. One thing I would like to mention, marketing is what you are wearing right now.
Yeah, I mean, always and forever. I think it's, I would say more than marketing. This is the core belief of why we've built what we've built, is that kindness is the center of what, and it's a superpower that we have.
Interesting. Now we are moving towards the content space, okay? Content questions and all. I have seen kindlife work with a lot of creators.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of friends in my circle also work with kindlife as influencers.
Okay.
I would love to know, what's your framework of choosing influencer? And before that, I would love to know your opinion about influencer marketing when you started the brand, what is right now, and what do you see in next 5 years?
Okay. So, when we started, we're about 4 years old as of yesterday, literally 4 years old.
Congratulations.
Thank you. When we started, it was a fairly standard stuff of how influencer was happening. This is a creative, you put it up, or I'll send you the products and I'll give you X amount of money, and then you can kind of make a reel out of it, that kind of a thing. One of the early learnings for us was, where is this creator sitting and what is it that the creator is doing, right? So we have a very large creator program called Kind Champions, where we have over 30,000 creators, and most of them, a large proportion of them, are micro, nano, UGC creators. Now, they are sitting all over India. And their communities are across platforms. It could be Reddit, it could be Instagram, it could be Telegram, it could be Facebook, it could be WhatsApp, anywhere. Now, these are creators who come on to Kind Life, have their stores, talk about their products, what are they loving, what are they, what do they recommend, etc. And we work with them in a way that, then if there is a sale or purchase that happens via them, they're rewarded that way. And that's the monetization route. One is that. The other is we look at creators, and this is like an internal sort of a mandate of, as I was going back to the ROI conversation again and again, what is this creator doing for me, right? We work with hundreds of creators to create content that goes in my performance ads right now, which was not the case 4 years ago. Today, all my ads that are running are creator ads we've seen very good uptake there. Okay. The second piece is also the creators that work with me from a content perspective, right? We are very clear of the audience, so I'm very clear of the kind of creator I get. I work with young creators. I work with the same Gen Z world of creators. But I work with creators who are across the board there. So it doesn't have to mean that they are largely proportionate towards beauty and lifestyle. But if there is somebody doing really interesting stuff, we're like, okay, we're going to work with you because your audience is going to be loving it. You get storytelling. Right? And that's when we look at these creators as people who will, we'll do content together, but we'll do it in a fun way. I think that's been very clear for us. So 3-4 pegs of how we define creators and what they're doing. That's number one. Number two, to answer your question, I think that's changed over the years. We haven't worked... very early on, we worked with a very large creator and it wasn't the best experience. And we realized that it was a lot of money that kind of little to no ROI.
Why it was not successful? Like it's ROI?
Yes, ROI. We didn't see any blip. We didn't see. It also didn't pan out as the easiest experience.
Why?
Translated. It just didn't. I think that I think it was a function of many things. Some of it, the timing of it, or we were very young and all of that as well. I don't know why it didn't work out, but it didn't.
I would like to interrupt you and just add one thing. Because I'm working with creators since last 5 years, I've seen a pattern in Indian creators. That might not sound good, but when you have kind of followers or something like that, the other person don't have, a few big creators, I'm still not naming them and all, they get a god complex. That I have seen it out.
I don't know, because we still have
I mean, when I work with them, they treat work as not work. For example, you are paying them, they will say we will create videos and that's it, that's our work. But it's not like that, right? I mean, it's a whole campaign that we are running and all. This is one of the things that I have seen in some of the creators. Does it the same with you or it is different?
So I don't know. We have a lot of the larger creators and celebrities who continue to shop with us, though we don't, they're massive patrons of us and all of that. But they're signed on by large brands, so they have their own. They come to us and shop with us like a customer, right? So it's the best kinds. So if we get anything, we know it's organic. Our DMs are pretty much filled with a lot of love from from them. But I think in this particular case, it was. I don't know why it didn't work out. I'm not sure about the complex part of it. But I think we were also very clear that, we run everything in-house. Okay. It was never something that we outsourced to an agency. So a lot of the learnings that we got were also stuff that we learned on the go, right? If there were creators where we thought it wasn't the best experience, we're like, okay, that's fine. What did we learn from this? And that's how I would see it. I don't know if the larger creators have a chip on their shoulder and all of that, because we've not worked with a lot of them. So I don't come from an unbiased professional experience to be making that kind of a comment. But having said that, we started seeing great traction from the nano micro world. So we knew that if I have to put the same amount of money and if I have to work with them, I'm just seeing disproportionate returns from them. That's where our focus became. And I think that, one thing that I have learned in the past couple of years is that authentic storytelling is very, very important. And that is something that has become central to how we build out everything as well. You were asking me what the next couple of years will look like. You know, 83% of Gen Z associates themselves as a creator, right? Which was not the case earlier. You were an influencer and something else. Today, a 22-year-old is also an influencer and also has a day job and has also got something else. So they understand that space very well. Even if they're not sitting on 1 million followers, they might be sitting on 10,000 followers, 5,000 followers, but their community swears by their recommendations. Their community swears by their feedback. And that became very important because as we grew, we realized that that's what it is. You know, when they spoke about it, they said, we'll not like this product, we'll not like this product. For us, because we're a multi-brand platform, there was a lot to talk about, right? It wasn't that. So there were a couple of learnings from there. And I think the next wave that you see will be that. You will see, and you know, there are some exciting things that we're working on as well. But you'll see a lot of that coming in. I think the next gen of how creators are going to be built out, the way that they're going to be developing themselves, the way that they are going to be talking about India is and I'm going back to Gen Z again, but you know, we're short form obsessed, content obsessed, right? They spend 3 to 4 hours only on reels. So more than that, yeah. So I think that the kind of people who are going to become and creators, how they're going to be and how they're going to be creating content is going to be very different. And vernacular is going to be big as well, right? I think that's going to be a very exciting space. We do a lot of work there. And, you know, we've seen great traction. We've seen numbers that are just amazing. So I think that what you'll see is that. What you'll see is...
So we are moving towards the next generation of content, okay? Yes. I mean, we can say the next generation of brand building.
Yes.
Earlier in 90s or maybe in 2000, TV ads were very, very big. Okay.
Yeah.
Newspaper were very, very big.
Yeah.
Then we have seen a culture after 2010. The performance marketing was very, very good. Okay. People are getting very great ROAS. Now the shift is totally different. It is going towards the organic content.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And we have seen this in your case. You have built out a community of 250,000 plus followers on Instagram. So what's your take on the shift of this, like from TV to performance to now content, organic content? Like people do not want to see ads.
Yeah.
People do not want to see brands also. People want to relate with the person they are seeing on the mobile phone. And one more thing, like the way of mine, like I'm talking as a Gen Z, the way of my consuming TV is very, very different from a newspaper. Is a very, very different when I'm consuming content on Instagram. It is very, very different when I'm consuming content on YouTube. Like the psychology is like very, very different.
Yeah.
So I just want to know from you, you have worked a lot on your organic content. You have built out a community of 250,000 plus followers that I have rarely seen in this category. Like a brand have built out that. Would love to know from you, like.
I think the central theme that of how we look at content is edutainment.
Got it.
All right. We are very clear exactly what you said. Why you are watching a content piece on your phone is different from why you're watching it on a Netflix or you're watching it on another platform, right? Education and entertainment is the cusp of where we're sitting. Let me break this down into the first part. In the education space, we know that, you know, we talk a lot about the global beauty brands that we're bringing in, like Korea, Japan. Glass skin as a term is highly searched, right? The consumers coming to us because they find it first on kindlife. They know, okay, you know, before I go, like, I'm going to discover stuff on kindlife. But there's also a lot that we need to tell the consumer about what it is. In the last 2 months, we've started a channel on YouTube called Glass Skin by kindlife.
Oh.
Now that channel is just sitting on amazing views and amazing subscribers, and has really grown because we use that to say, hey, listen, what's a 5-step, 10-step routine in India? We were talking about 60 to 70% of Indians using 3 to 6 products. What does that mean, right? What will work in India? Does Korean beauty really work? Can I get that? Okay, listen, what is Indian makeup versus a Korean makeup, right? Everyone talks about the products, but how does it work? So we've really broken that down. Similarly, like that, we do an IP called Derma Tea, where a dermat is spelling out the teas. Now, that is on our socials, that is on events that we do, where we get leading dermatologists to come and, we just did something about 2 weeks ago where they came and said, okay, you know what, winter's happening. Let me break it down to you as to what's working and what's not. So a lot of conversation happening on sunscreen. Now we have an SPF school that we've started where we break it down again. So education is key. Second is entertainment. And entertainment is not outside of what the brand is talking. We have just launched the first Indian Korean microdrama, right? Microdrama as a segment is growing extremely rapidly. K-drama is extremely popular. As I said, discovery is happening via culture, and that's where we're sitting. So, K-drama is where a lot of, when you talk about K-beauty, it's so much around the K lifestyle, right? Drama, pop, all of that. So we've launched the Indian K-drama, microdrama series. That's something that we're very excited about. So you'll see a lot of microdramas coming out of on kindlife. We do a lot with, we do a content series where just the crew sits down, and you were talking about humanizing. We do something called TBH, to be honest, where the crew just reviews. And really, like, we have a super team in-house, and all of us are juggling our day jobs and kind of like, doubling down as creating content. But it's because people want to see what is it, right? I get these products and I want to see, and I get the reviews, but it's done in a fun way. Then we have another series that we do called Bro Talks. The tagline is the only time you should be listening to Bro, and where the guys are doing reviews of skincare products. So I think for us, this is where I feel that we move, and this is where the consumer is moving as well. Why even within that, how you consume YouTube is very different from how you consume shorts, is very different from how you consume something else, right? And that is the true test of what you said, right? Like earlier, that when you're on YouTube, you have those 10 minutes, you have 15, 20 minutes. You want to take that time off, open it. I'm doing my nighttime skincare routine. I'm going to watch it. But I want to watch a series on the go, so I'm going to watch my microdrama on the go, right? So for us, it's a combination of all of this. And truly, the credit goes to the fact that we have a fabulous team. Average age is like 24, maybe in office, or 25. So I'm building for the consumer that rests in office. And that's an experience that we're trying to create. And it's a lot of insight that you get. And I think one thing that I feel, and I'm a millennial who was a Facebook girl, and then moved to Instagram with the grainy pictures. But I think Gen Z does a great job of not taking themselves too seriously. So it's really nice to see, content that's not super scripted, not like, more real and authentic.
Interesting. Like, I was in China recently.
Yeah.
Okay. Few months back in October.
Nice.
I have talked with a lot of people who are doing microdramas.
Yes.
Like, they produce more than 300 plus microdramas in a day. The whole series. I'm talking about that. And I was talking about them, and there was a very big market of brands building microdramas. I haven't seen that happen in India. Glad to know, coming out from you. Congratulations on that part. It would really, really, really go a lot far. That's a very great concept that should come out. But yeah, these kinds of concepts if somebody is bringing in India, so you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Now, I just want to know, like you have mentioned like multiple IPs, like Glass Skin by Kind Life,
Yeah.
Dermatry, Brotox and all. What's the whole vision around that? Like, whole vision? It's just ROI? It just
You mean
increasing the sale?
Oh, vision
Or,
for I
yeah.
think it's for I wouldn't say sale from this. I don't think that's how you can look at it. If you're looking at content and saying I'm putting an Instagram post for a sale to happen, all brands would be doing it. Let me be. That's not going to happen. It's awareness. It's about being top of mind for the consumer. It's about also being the choice for the consumer. It's also for our community to grow. It's also for you know a 16, 18-year-old to know that, listen, this is a brand that gets me,
Okay.
and be a part of the larger narrative of reaching out to them. I think if the playbook was so simple ki I have put an Instagram post and isse mera ek sale aa jayega, trust me a lot, especially the legacy brands that we were talking about earlier would put in all their money and would be like, okay, here. But I don't think you should look at it that way. I think that that's not what it's doing. I think how engaged your community is and whether they think of you when they want to, you just said right now that in China there are a lot of brands doing it. I think that, even when we have, you'll see products integrated in a very subtle way. And I think that's the approach that we continue to take. As I said, I think when we talk about the education piece and entertainment piece, obviously our commerce and product discovery is a layer that's there, but it's not central to our storytelling. Central as in it's not like I'll say, hey, listen, you have to go buy it. No. This is what we think of it. If you're looking for something, it's a great thing for you to buy.
Interesting.
That.
One thing that you also do great in marketing, like you bring very good concepts early on. Like one of the things that I want to mention, like you release reports.
Yeah.
I have mentioned that on LinkedIn also. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Like for a person like me, would like to love these reports, love to read these reports. It'll help me to understand about the industry, not about only Kind Life, but to know the industry, to know like what's happening behind, like why I should choose this brand and all. What's the whole data bag, whole reports coming out from. This is really good. Like this is the concept that we are also implementing at QuickReel. We have one of the largest database of creators in India, like which are using a SaaS tool and all. So we have a very great patterns out there that report would be inspired from Kind Life. So yeah, that you are doing great on that part.
Thank you. I'm glad that it was.
Okay, Manasa. Now we are coming from the content to Manasa again.
Okay.
I would love to know, let's say you are 20-year-old.
Okay.
In a second year of college and want to do a startup. How would you do it and what you will build? And I'm asking this question as Manasa. Yeah.
I'm not giving you all my trade secrets. Because some of the stuff that I want to build is work in progress. You'll see some announcements happening. So I will do this completely hypothetically. Okay. I think there are some things that are of interest to me. So let me put the hat of why I would build a startup. I think the first thing, and I tell this to everybody, is that what are you building, why are you building, and who are you building for? It's really as simple as that. On a piece of paper, if you can write that, I'm building, let me take an example, right? I'm just going to use this as a placeholder. I'm building a brand of gluten-free bread. Just really thinking out, or like something in food space, right? Who am I building for? Am I building for those who are gluten intolerant, which is a base? Am I building for those who are gluten sensitive and just I'm building for someone who's wants to live a healthy life? My market size, potential, the TAM, etc., as that we call, changes accordingly. So, who am I really building for? Draw out this person. That will be number one. What am I building is going to be what I am bringing to the table, right? What does my brand stand for? why is, like, tell me more about the actual product efficacy, or like, is it healthier? What are the metrics for healthy? Is it tastes better? Then what is it that, how do you define that? All of that becomes the what. And the why is clearly the space that you see, the white space that you see, right? If there are 4 brands already in the market, then where do I really stand against it? Why? I saw this, I'm building this because I saw a white space here. I think that this was an area that has not been covered out, right? So I think these 3 building blocks, if you are done, then that's a great kind of a playbook that you can look at and say, okay, this is a starting point for me. If you want to build it just because you're having FOMO and everyone around you is a startup, is an entrepreneur, I would like to tell you that please know what you're getting into. We were talking about failures and successes when we started talking. I think it's not an easy journey for anyone who's building. And I have extreme respect for anybody who's even thought about getting into entrepreneurship. So understand that very clearly. Just because कोई कर रहा है और मुझे FOMO हो रहा है, startup करते हैं, ऐसे मत सोचो, please. That's not the best way to be looking at it, because it'll fizzle out, right? So I would say that. If you ask me, I think there are some white spaces that I see, some that I might not get into immediately because it's a trade secret, as I said. But I think the couple of things that I see are going to be interesting is definitely, the creator space. I think that, like what you're doing, and a lot of others are doing it in a really interesting way. So that's going to be very exciting to see. A lot of these businesses are probably in the last 2 years, right? Didn't exist till like even 4 years ago.
Right.
So I think that's going to be an interesting space. I think that the other goes without saying that AI is going to be central to a lot of businesses that are being built out. It's like the norm. So I'm not putting that outside of the cohort of anything else that you're building. I am personally very excited as a consumer and consumer alone in the travel space. I think that's something that I find change in the last few years. I love to travel. So I think that's something that is where I see a lot of people doing a lot of things that I didn't even know of, like experiences as a larger cohort. I think that will be very exciting. Now that experience could be travel, that could be, people are traveling for concerts and they're traveling for other things. And, Airbnb came out with the experiences piece now of what you can do, etc. So I think larger scheme of things, being experiences, X travel is something that I would be very excited about. Yeah, but I think that, if you don't get in, you don't know how deep the water is. That's just how it is. So yeah, I would tell a 20-year-old, just try and see.
What's your favorite destination?
It's a fantastic question. Okay, top 3 destinations for me. One. Okay.
Only one.
One place that I went to, which really was something I had never seen, was I had gone to Serengeti National Park in Tanzania. And I saw till as far as my eyes could go, there were animals just running. I think the smallness of how you are in the larger scheme of the world and the earth and the solar system was so real in that moment, because you're just this much. And I think that was one trip that really, I had never seen anything like that. So I think that is a place that I tell everyone, just you have to go and see one of the game parks and see. It's exceptional. I mean, it was exceptional. Like, I don't think I have seen anything like that. And that credit goes to my parents. I have to say it. My parents were always, it wasn't about the 100% credit of this goes to my parents. They were never, I was not a massive shopper while growing up. My parents were always particular about how, you had to give in a sheet of where you spent last month's pocket money to get the next month's pocket money. Not because they wanted to know, but because I should get into the habit of, knowing. Never bought a shoe without discarding an old one. I changed like 10, 12 houses. I moved like 12 times in a decade. And then I said I can live my whole life in a suitcase. But I ended up, prioritizing travel and experience because it came from my parents who, by virtue of work, my parents traveled a lot. So yeah, I'd say that. Anyway.
My favorite destination, if by the way, you didn't ask, but let me
Yeah,
mention it.
that's why I said top 3. I had like so many places.
No, I mean, when you are just talking about one, then you just focus on that one.
Yeah.
When you're talking about 3, then your mind will focus
I
on
know.
each and every
I
part
know.
of all 3.
I
So
know.
I'm not big on traveling.
Okay.
I'm big on experiences, like particular experiences. So, like, I was in China just for a event. Like, they called out some of the startups from all over the world, and one was us. And like that event was for like 8 days and all. After that, I lived there for like 10 and 15 days more, and I went to Mount Huashin. It is a dangerous trek in the world.
Okay.
I haven't trekked at all, so that was my first trek, and that was amazing experience. Like when you go on the peak, you really loved it and all, and when you push yourself at the extent, like I am really, really scared guy. So
yeah, I think that's what travel does. I feel that, and I feel that we've kind of taken away that from travel. Like I'm really online all the time, but when I travel and when I don't end up posting as much, and I come back and I got like a couple of stories here and there, kind of a thing. But I'm not like a because I feel that it's become like a competitive sport. Faltu mein, I've gone to the 56 flags and counting and all, but it doesn't matter. Like you went to a place that. And I feel like that's what travel does. It puts you out of your comfort zone. It makes you you are more you put yourself out there more. You're like, okay, what's the worst that's going to happen? Let me try. You're more willing to take risks in that particular moment. And I think you also it changes your worldview. You meet people who are from different worlds, and you're like, okay. And I think that it could be, you did not ask me the top 3, but one of them is like my ancestral village and that in Andhra. And I think that was another trip that I really had seen something that was really magical. And I think that, with travel, it takes you to the place and how you were over there as opposed to the place. That moment of how you felt and who you were with and what you did to overcome, like what you said, right? It was, you're not a trekker, but you said, okay, I'm going to do this. So it takes you back to that feeling of the risk that you took or the joy it brought you. And that's what travel does. So I think,
yeah, I mean, similar experiences. Like I went to Thailand and I have petted a tiger. That kind of experience really take you through like what is life. Like life is not just a box. Okay, I mean, you can do several things. I mean, by the end of your life, you will be having some stories around you, right? You have done this and this.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I think. You were mentioning about your one of the place. Like, I would love to know your ancestor village. Like, please mention it. I would love to know.
I did a trip in. My father's from a place in Andhra.
Okay.
A small village called Teki, and but moved to Hyderabad and then moved to the north to do his PhD and stayed here pretty much. I've never been, and I was. This was between my summers. I finished my undergrad, and I was going for my masters, and I had a summer or two. My nana nani were based in Hyderabad, so summer vacations means going back to their house, and I had my uncles and aunts there, etc. And I decided to go to the ancestral village, and I did. I went to a bunch of places in the Godavari district and stayed with family and friends, etc. But did the traveling by myself. I thought it was really gorgeous, and I think that was another place that I thought was just really, really gorgeous. And it's not like, I don't think that it needs to be a tick off. Like if a place brings you joy, it brings you joy, period. Anything that brings you joy, period. It doesn't matter, small, big, all of that. But I think that's what I would say. And third was Japan. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. You told me not to say 3 places, but I did. And I'm now, I'd say, yeah.
Why Japan?
I traveled to Japan with a friend of mine, and we used to read. Um, I don't read as much as I would like to, but we'd read a book by a Japanese author, and the friend of mine and I had always spoken about it, and we never went. And then I remember we just finally decided to go, and we went to Tokyo and Kyoto. That's it. But we did about a week long, 10 days long trip, and I think that I can never forget that we were at the check-in counter and we met at the airport, and she came from her place and we were squealing. We were like at the airport, and they were just like, the check-in counter, we were just like, dude, calm down. Like, tum flight mein ghus rahe ho itna kya? We were like, oh my God, it's happening. I think the joy of the trip, making it out of the WhatsApp chat, is what causes most amount of happiness. Ye ho raha hai, actually. We went to Tokyo and Kyoto, and it was just absolutely beautiful. It was one of those places that the moment I landed, I knew I was going to come back. Yeah. Anyway.
But I expected a country that you didn't mention.
Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a story around that, but
You
I would
did?
love to.
No, I think Korea is... the first time I went to Korea was many years ago. I was at Shop Clues, actually, when I went to Korea. And now it's practically second home for all of us. And I think that now we know our way around and all of that. We have a base in Korea as well. So I really like it. I think people are really wonderful and nice, and everything is really nice. So, yeah.
Have you ever been to China?
No, I've only been to now Hong Kong, but not to mainland China. No.
Very great industry in the beauty space.
I know. There's a lot happening there. I know.
But South Korea thing I was saying, like, it is a story of 2023. We didn't raise any round of funding for a startup. Like, it was very, very new. Okay. We were selected as top 60 startup in Korean Startup Grand Challenge.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So only 4 startups were from India.
Yeah.
One is of my friend, like Fareen.
Okay.
One is R, and 2 others. It was sponsorship for 3 months. You're gonna live there.
Oh,
like,
nice.
they're gonna give you money, like more than the money that you need. And after like 3 months, then they will continue your stay for next 3 months, and you can build up there. Like, South Korea was really good for our space also. In the creator space, it is one of the growing industry. Like, I think it is on 7th on all over the world. And like, they have built out the creator studio and all. But the story is that, we were very young. Like, we were just, at the time we were like 21, 22-year-old. And like, we haven't filled out our ITR also at that time.
Okay.
Our company haven't done kind of fund and all. Our visa got rejected.
Oh.
Yeah. And we have applied 2 times and all. It got rejected. But yeah, I mean, this kind of things really
happen. Yeah. I
in a
mean,
journey. But you learn from them.
yes,
But one thing I have also learned from that story, like, you don't have to let go any opportunity in your life. Like, for example, I should have put more efforts to just grab that opportunity. I should have reached out to like top founders and just talk with them. Like, this is what happening and all. I should talk to like multiple people and all. That I think I have put effort, but not that kind of effort.
I think you're being too hard on yourself.
Sorry?
I think you're being too hard on yourself because I feel that retrospect में सबके पास answers होते हैं.
Yeah.
I should have, whatever. But at that time, you did the best that you could. I'll tell you a philosophy that I swear by. Okay. The gyan you didn't sign up for or asked for.
Yeah.
What is meant for you finds its way. I'm a strong believer of that. If it is meant for you, anything, the good, the bad, the ugly, it'll find its way to you. In the wise words of Hrithik from Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, sab likha hai. It's pretty much the same thing. It doesn't mean you don't put in the effort, but I feel like, and unfortunately, sometimes in that particular moment, you feel, why didn't it happen to me? But there is a reason. Like, it'll come back bigger.
No, I totally agree with you. Like, whatever happens with you, happens with a reason. But there's a story again, okay? There was a guy who was a great believer of God. Okay, God gave him a promise that I will save you. I won't make you die. Okay. Then he went to a ship, and the ship was going under the water. Okay. Then there is a small boat comes out towards him, and that said, "कि आ जाओ, हम बचा रहे हैं." He didn't mind. कि my God will come and he will save me. Don't worry. Then there's a helicopter comes in out that saves him. Then he says, no, Bhagwan aayenge and he will save me. And at the end, he dies. And then he asks, like, God, you gave me a promise that you will save me and all. And then the God says, like, I send a boat for you. I send a helicopter for you. But you didn't. But you did. Yeah. So I think, like, that thing really teach me something, because I'm very good at reaching out to people, building connection and all. I got to connect with you like when I was so early, learn a lot from you, and after that, like similar things happened with my China and thing and all. I was very prepared for that. Before just doing anything, I had like 10 other people in my backup and all. I know like if something that happened, what I have to do and all. So yeah, I mean, opportunities do not come anyway to you. Like ऐसा नहीं कि opportunity आती रहेंगी, but what my belief is, whenever you get opportunity, just give your 120% for that.
You're doing a great job, dude. I think I'm heavily inspired by you, and and it's true. But because I feel that and your generation as well, because I feel that y'all are taking risks a lot more than as a 20-year-old. If you had asked me when I was 20, I wouldn't have the appetite. But y'all are like,
but it's different, right? You have learned, you have lived in a different
I know life. That, but I do feel that that's also an intrinsically like a it's a mindset. Yeah, you could be like that, and so opportunities also align that way. Also,
I mean, also like with Gen Alpha, I see like a lot of students left out of school. Like for me, dropping out from school was a very, very big thing. Dropping out from college was a big thing that I didn't. But from these Gen Alphas and all, they're doing amazing from a younger generation. So I think that is like, we are also leveraged with a lot of knowledge, right? Gen Alpha is a lot more leveraged than us. We are a lot more leveraged than the previous generation, the millennials, and you were leveraged from the
100%. I think that everyone is walking the path that somebody else paved, for sure. And I also think opportunities are more, but I'm not denying that. But I do think that having said that, all else remaining same, it's really nice to see that y'all are taking the risks. So it's amazing. Congratulations.
Let's say if you have to make $1 million in next 6 months, okay, how would you do it?
If anybody gives you that answer and knows that they are going to find a way, please send them my way. If the answer to making $1 million is something that anybody has, please. I don't know how I would answer that because I feel that I don't know. There's so many ways. A lot of things that are legal, illegal, all of that. If the end goal is to make the money that you need to, I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that question.
But still, like one thing you see, like today I will go in 6 months, might be or might not be.
I mean, we're focused on our business, so I think we'll be building it in.
So maybe you invest in your business, something like that.
Maybe. To make the money, I think the business is in a knock on wood, is in a great place. And we have, as I said at the beginning, I'm not sure if I said it offline or on the podcast, but we have some kick-ass stuff coming out in 2026. So I think we're gonna be in a really good place. If you call me back here next year, I'll be answering that question with how we got here. But I'll leave it at that.
Who's the most impressive person you have ever met?
Most impressive. Wow. Anj, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to give you as an answer in one word, but I can tell you something that worked for me when I started my career. I was very clear about the kind of people I wanted to work with. And I think that I was able to, when I looked at roles that I took, opportunities that I took, I looked at the kind of mentors I will be working under. And I'll tell you, it comes from a place that I feel that my best output comes out in a situation like that. If I'm working with people who are XYZ, my productive, like just my output, core output of work changes. So I think across my jobs, I think Radhika was somebody who has had a deep impact on me. And I'm truly privileged and honored to be doing this standing besides her, because I think that she really, I was maybe 25 or less so when I started working at Shop Clues. I spent a couple of years, but I think that a lot of conversations, especially as a woman in business, and what the purpose was. I think that was something that she had a deep impact on me, deep impact. And I think not only me, to my close set of girlfriends as well, right? I think that that's always made the table longer for everybody to sit in. So I would say one. Second is I had the opportunity to work with Mr. Harsh Mariwala. And I think it was just exceptional. I learned so much. And I think that that was one thing that I felt that, just those 2 years odd were, I learned a lot. And I learned a lot, not only from a work ethic and workspace, but outside of work as well. What's the kind of leader you need to be? What's the kind of impact you have? And I think that, that's something that stayed with me. When I look at leaders, I see some commonality across. I see people who are very secure. I see people who are give you the chance and give you the space to try and fail. You fail, you come back, and you don't learn. I mean, you need to learn from it. Right. But the fear of, I don't know if I should do it because it'll not work out, is not there. I think that that's there. Extremely secure and extremely kind. And I think that that became very important to me. Very, very kind. We have a certain image of how, leaders need to be. I think it's just a bit, sorry, but it's a bit ridiculous, because the difference doesn't mean, it's not like you're not strict with your work or you're not clear about, I don't think it's that. But so tough to sab hai, or tough sab kuch bhi hai. But for me, I was very clear that that's the kind of person I want to become in my professional setting. And I feel that it comes, and it also translates into the kind of person you are, right? So I feel like for me, there were a couple of people, like I think another person was Ganesh Balakrishnan, who was my boss, the famous Down But Not Out founder. I had a chance and an opportunity to work with him at Shop Close, and I think he was also another person that I'm very, very grateful to have worked with. There was just, it was a very, very a massive learning experience. I felt like my mind was just being opened. And I think that that's a common thread that I feel. And, you see that, and now that I work with the next gen, and I work with, our youngest intern, you were talking about Gen Alpha, our youngest intern was 14, 15. She came in from school and she said, listen, I have a summer break and I spent a month doing a project. And she was the most professional application I've ever received. It had everything written to the T. She knew, when am I going to come? What am I going to do? And she was fabulous. She, I still kind of go to her to pick her brain and stuff. But I think that those are some of the things, you can still be, as I said, you can be strict at work and want the best output. You can be a tough taskmaster. But the fact is that if you're not, it doesn't, you can be kind. And I think that it comes from a place of security that these leaders had, that I saw, that they didn't mind that it's a young intern telling me, or it's somebody else telling me. I will listen to you. What do you bring to the table? Don't sit in the corner, come sit in front and tell me what your ideas are. That only comes from extremely kind people. And I think that was something that stayed. So a lot of people is how I would say, but a commonality across would be that commonality.
Very, very interesting answer. I got it. Yeah. I'm observing this. So now you have given me a lot of advices till now.
I'm like, I don't know. It feels like
it have become a founder masterclass for me till now.
Thank you.
I just want to know what is the best advice you have ever got?
Very recently, my brother told me something, and I think that's been something that shifted a few things for me. It was the 1:1 theory. Okay. What I put in my effort vis-a-vis what the universe is doing back to me. Okay, universe, destiny, what's all of that, which we both. If I put in 0, and if the universe puts in 100, it is 0 into 100, 100. Kuch nahi hone wala. The example that you gave of the boat coming and saving you. If you don't put in the effort, it's not going to happen. Second is, you put in 100, and for some reason, it's beyond your control. It doesn't work out. So it's 100 into 0 is 100. 0. Right? The alignment needs to happen when both is in sync. That does not mean that you don't put in the effort. That doesn't mean that you don't show up every day. That doesn't mean that, just because yesterday was 100 into 0, that means today I will also put in 0. No. You continue to give everything that you have. And everything around will fall in place. And I think that that's something that really stayed with me. It's like a 1:1 thing. Because I feel like you have to put in the effort. You have to show up. You have to, and it's tough. I think that the common base that entrepreneurs function on is this extremely disproportionate amount of self-belief and positivity, where everything that can go wrong goes wrong, but you go to sleep and you say, I'm going to try again tomorrow. Because I know that it's going to happen. And I think that that's something that, shit happens, things don't work out, it doesn't plan out the way that it does, all of it. And showing up differently looks different every day. I saw this really nice post on Instagram where it had showing up today, what does showing up look like? And it's like these circles, and one day it was 40%, one day it's 60%, one day is 80%. But the fact is that you showed up every day. That's it. Right. So I feel that that's what it is. You come in, you have a tough day, you go back, you pour a nice beverage of choice, you sit and watch something that's comfort, eat your comfort food, you go to sleep, you wake up and it's a new day, but you show up. And I think that's something that's kind of been my self-doubt and questionable, like, as you said, that at that time I should have done this, all of that will continue to be there. Will continue to be there, but okay, now you move on to the next thing.
No, you have given a great example of showing up by showing up today at a center. It's not a working day and you are still there and all. So it's really inspiring.
Yeah, I think that, my father's an entrepreneur as well, and someone who's my parents are, and because we started the conversation with parents, I think that they've have a deep impact on the kind of person I am. My father's an entrepreneur, has worked all his life, extremely brilliant work ethic, nothing that I've ever seen, and it's not a function of how old he is, etc. It's just always been like this. My mother is forever living in gratitude and abundance, and she says, this It's great. Everything's great. Everything that happens. So I feel like a little bit of the reality of how tough it is, and that world is maintained for me. And so that. But I think it's also like I have a brilliant support system. Yaar. Matlab, I have my girlfriends on speed dial who are constantly like, you got this, you got this, you got this.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay. I was telling somebody, it's a bit off topic and not a part of your question, but somebody was asking me, how is entrepreneurship? So there's this really cute video. I don't know if you've seen of this kid who's dancing on the stage and crying. Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
So I feel like that's what it is. You're like, show must go on. I don't have time to cry. Please. So that's what it feels like. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Very, very nice. Manasa, we have coming towards the end of the conversation, but just before that, one question I would love to know. What does a day in a life of Manasa look like? You are showing up on Sunday. You must have.
So are you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still at my place,
No,
right? I
but
have not traveled. You have
yeah.
came from like a different place. Then the firework was there. You came by like walking to 1 kilometers and all. I would love to know, like, today is Sunday. Yesterday I saw like you were also with your team.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll be going to your office.
Yes.
What does a day in Manasa look like? And then what's your, I can say, what do you do for getting out of the zone? Like,
taking
or
a break?
do you do that or
okay.
not?
I was telling a friend of mine that the greatest thing about when you become a founder is that you own your time. So if you want on a Monday morning, if it's too much, you can take a break and get out. And then on Sunday, if you want to work, nobody's telling you to do anything. You have to be motivated enough to do it, right? My day looks different every day. I know when I'm walking into office and maybe when I'm walking out of office.
Are you a morning person or?
I prefer morning.
Oh.
I'll tell you. I think that I get a lot of thinking work done on the weekends. If I have to write or think. I mean, just taking a little bit of a step back, because once you get into office, 10 to 6 is where you're busy with operational stuff. I think for me, it's I like to get into work early. I have always been that way. My day looks like I want to say something like really deep of morning of ice bath and all. वैसा कुछ नहीं है. I wake up and then this weather very grudgingly out of bed when the rajai is just too comfortable. I'm out. I eat breakfast early. I eat dinner early. I eat breakfast early, so my food is pretty much. But I'm out of the home. I'm in office by about anything between 9 and 9:30, depending on the kind of day it is. Sometimes earlier, sometimes plus minus. I think at 9:30 to 10, I have a slot open on my calendar for any customer who wants to talk to me. About 2 years ago, we did this thing where we can just book a Calendly slot with me. If you want to talk to, I want to talk to the manager. If that needs to happen, then there's a slot that's available. You can book a slot with me and I'll be happy to chat. Then my day starts. Typically, it starts off with a review of what's happening across verticals, etc. And then the day pans out the way that it does. I shoot once a week at least. So I have that. Some of the content that you see, like, we're talking about glass skin, etc. Some of it is stuff that comes out when I'm also there. So some of them are shoot days. And then I get through the day. And then once everyone leaves, maybe a few hours of, if I want to just take a break. And otherwise I go home and I find it very hard to work at home. So even if it is Saturday, Sunday, I'm very happy to getting out. So I'm like, I'll go to the nearest cafe and kind of work. And my set cafes and my set places that I go to. In Delhi, I used to go to Perch in Vasant Vihar very, very often. Just walk down and walk back. And here I go to Gotti in Galleria to work. I really like it. And I like to take the laptop out of home. That's what my day looks like. I come back. I would have wanted to work out in the evening, which hasn't happened in a while. But huge shout out to my coach who has not given up on me in 10 years. He'd be like, okay, just come, just show up, just tu laptop leke aaja, tu bas aaja. So huge shout out to him. But yeah, I think an ideal day would involve a little bit of morning would be just getting my head in place. I think walking is something that I feel is grossly underrated now. I just kind of walk to clear my mind. I listen to music 24/7. I have music playing all the time. I'm
What
a
kind of
massive.
music do you?
I start the day with some grounding and that kind of music that is devotional. Plus that start off with 1 or 2 tracks. 1 to 3 tracks about in that space, and then I move to extremely banger music. It could be Punjabi, it could be, I discovered Snoop Dogg has this album that he's done for kids. And in that, one of them is called an affirmation song. It is the most addictive thing ever. So it's like, he's singing to kids, but it's an affirmation song. So you just feel like you're like, but in the morning, it's always like, your millennial club music or anything that just puts me in the, get into the zone. At night, I listen to Carnatic music when I'm doing my winding down, skincare routine. I just need really, I think that it is just centers me in a very different way. It takes me to another place. My parents put me in music when I was very young. I didn't continue, but they put me in music when I was very young. Typical South Indian household. And I think that's something I listen to while going to sleep. So I'm listening to different genres through the day. Commercial mostly. But I think towards the evening is when I started listening to slightly on the indie pop world and like indie music, that kind of a thing. And then but yeah. And to answer your question, sorry, you said that do you really check out? And I think I do when I take breaks. I take breaks. I used to not take as many breaks earlier. Now I feel, but when I do get to travel, I think it rejuvenates me. It doesn't matter if it's a day or like 3 days or any of that. I think I take the break. I enjoy some things outside of work that I continue to do.
But back of the mind, don't you think about your business?
Yeah, वो तो रहता है.
Subconsciously.
वो तो रहता है. I think I've done longer hours in my career.
Right.
But now I feel your mind is always on. But this is the life that I wanted for myself and what I signed up for. So I'm very aware of that. I think it also really helps that I have brilliant co-founders. Vidit and I also have worked together in the past. So we've known each other for over a decade. So if there are times when it is, tougher than I thought it would be, they are my sounding boards for everything, personal, professional. And I think I'm extremely lucky and extremely privileged and grateful that I have them. Because I feel that, your co-founders also see you in not at your best always, right? They see the entrepreneurship brings out a side to you also that you didn't even know that existed, that dark, space, etc. So I think that, and I take breaks. Yeah, I travel. I enjoy traveling. I think once in a few, I'm a foodie and I want to know what's the nicest cocktail bars in town and all of that. And I have extremely wonderful nieces, 5 and 6 months old. And every time my life is too much, I'm like sitting and watching their videos. I'm that aunt, like calling my brother and my sister-in-law, saying, I want to talk to my niece in like 5 minutes. And I'm like, okay, now I'm 5.
Very nice.
So it's that.
I mean, this question I try to like ask a lot of people who are successful, who are doing something and all, like when they wake up, like are they night owl or are they morning person? And like me and Ayush also were discussing this a few days back. 99% of the successful people are like they wake up early in the morning. Yeah.
I think that I wasn't. So I have high energy pretty much through the day. Let me be, you can take me out at night and I'm okay to be up till 2 a.m. as well. But I think sleep has become very important for me now. So that's the thing. I think that I wake up in the morning, it gives you a sort of it's a blank slate. And I think that is what the opportunity of morning looks like, right? I don't wake up as early as probably my parents would have liked. They still wake up at 5:30 every day. Anna wakes up, my brother wakes up early because he runs, and I'm the last to wake up from the lot. But I think that, yeah, I like my mornings. I like to get into work early. I feel like that's just puts me in the zone when I get in. Yeah.
That's the secret of your success.
I know, man. I think the secret is that a lot of people doing a lot of things and we're all doing it together.
But have you seen someone who is like a night owl and successful kind of people?
No, I'm sure there are people
Yeah,
who,
yeah.
and I think that the that's also changed for me a little, because I feel like when your productivity is the best, is if your output is best at 2 a.m., then that's it, right? My team, like my conversation with the Gen Z folks is always that why would you send me something at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever? But they feel that that's when their best productivity is, so it's fine. I think to each their own, what works. But now I feel that generally, I feel like if I do 2 late nights, then I need like a night to just sleep in early and all of that. But yeah, I think I can kind of, I used to sleep a little later. Now I'm a little, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, I'm observing this pattern since last few years. Like, and I have observed this pattern, and I think these things matter because definitely, like as a Gen Z and all, we have been in a culture of like mostly waking up at night, and several reasons around that, because I mean, stay more of most of the time on the screen that make us stay a little late, and then we have a lot of distraction and all.
But I think it's a rite of passage that every generation does. Huh? Let me be honest. When I was at that age, I feel I used to sleep much later, and I could survive on low sleep. So I don't think it was like, I mean, while there is more of this thing, but I do feel that I had it more to like pull a 2 a.m., 3 a.m. night and then get to work by 10, like now I'm like, okay. So I don't think, I think it is probably a function of the age. Everybody who has been in their 20s at some point who's done that. But I don't think I'm not a part of the 5 a.m. club. I don't know how, I mean, I really have to give it hats off to people who were up at 5, 4, workout, ice baths, this, that, all of that. I think that you do 3 things and you ace it, as opposed to doing 50 things, is how I'm now realizing is a better way for me. But yeah, that's. But starting the work day early is something that's I've always been like that.
No, I mean, definitely. Now coming to the last question, yes. Manasa. Okay. Your yes sounds like you have been. I mean, you didn't enjoy?
Of course I enjoyed. No, I just meant like, yes, like drum roll. Drum roll, please, kind of like the pressure building up to the last question. That's what I meant.
Definitely. Let's say all of your content and podcasts were erased from internet and you have only next 60 seconds to leave something for this world. What would it be?
I would just come in front of the video and say, you do you, and please be kind to yourself. That's it. If I had to leave one thing, it would be kind to yourself. I think that whatever you are authentically is great. That's all I would say. I don't know if that's the answer to your question. I'm still not able to understand.
Why do you want to say this to the world?
Because I think it's tough. And I think that with the internet, it's anyway, you're constantly like comparing and thinking that something out there, someone is better. And you're always analyzing yourself a lot more and putting yourself under the radar of, you're putting yourself under the microscope a lot more. So I feel that, you'll be, you're always like, okay, is this too much? Is this too much? And I would say that. I would also say that to a 15-year-old me, that you're fine and just be kind to yourself. And I think that's all I would say. I think the world can really do with more kindness. Like, share, subscribe to your amazing podcast, as well as Kind Life and all our pages.
And also Manasa on
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah, she posts a really good content.
And if you are looking for advice on what to buy and you don't know where to start, slide into my DMs and I'll be very happy to answer the questions.
How can someone slide into your DMs? Like where they
Find
can
me.
reach you?
My Instagram ID is Manasa G.
Hmm.
Drop me a text. I'm usually pretty good at getting back.
Hmm.
That would be the best way. Otherwise, drop me an email at mg@kindlife.in.
Hmm. We will also link that in comment box.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for coming on the
Thank
podcast,
you.
Manasa.
Thank you for taking out time on a Sunday and doing this with me. I'm very
Yeah.
excited and yeah, I'm very, very excited. This was a really fun chat and that's it. Congratulations on all that you've built. It's great.
Thank you.